But that cop lied to justify the execution-style killing of that young man. You got fathers, many of them in this country. Unfortunately, man, some fathers not gonna tolerate you killing their kids like that, man. Said this young man turned and pointed his weapon at the officer. He never turned his around at all. Okay. He got out the car within 6 seconds. You see him running with the gun by his side like this in his left hand. He's running that way, the officer behind him. Every shot was to his back. And what they lied and said, the cop said he turned around and pointed that weapon.
At the prior hearing before today,
The outburst is so intense, Hinton is escorted out of the courtroom.
My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before. They did it before. I got Vito and them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. He talking about that's my family. That's my family next door. Come on. Ray, please. Come on. Doing all that. LCB 101, man. I got 40 motherfuckers on my brother, man. Talking like y'all hard. Y'all can't do that shit 101. For the God, man. I can't even see my little brother. Y'all trying to shit, dude.
Hinton returns for this special hearing.
I think in light of his mindset at the time this happened, I was physically present with the defendant over the weekend. I think he has mental issues. I think it's a long way of answering the question. I think the conduct in question is classic mental illness, criminal conduct. It's always intentional, it's bold, and conspicuous.
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lem. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Wowzer. Yikes. It goes down in the courtroom, you guys. As you just seen, it was a chaotic scene inside that courtroom when Rodney Hinton Jr., the accused father who ran over the retired deputy who was working traffic duty at a graduation there, Larry Henderson, was killed as he was struck by Rodney Hinton Jr.'s vehicle. And they said that he intentionally did this, is what the prosecution brought forward in court. Now, when those court proceedings were about to begin, a man that claimed to be Rodney Hinton Jr.'s brother, right? He stood up and he was knocking on the glass in that courtroom, as I showed in that beginning clip that caused all this commotion, right? The officer snatched him, tried to little boy him and tell him to sit down, and his brother was like, look, that's my brother. I just want to see him. Yeah. All hell broke loose in that courtroom, you guys. But this whole thing has gotten out of hand, and it's all because of racial tension. That's right. Black men are feeling like, you know, we and our kids and our women are getting gunned down at the hands of officers, all because they say that they feel threatened. They were in intimate fear of their life. And most of the times it turns out that these suspects, these black suspects that they say that they were in fear of their life from, have no weapons on them, right? Pose no real threat to their life. They just use this as a tool, as a weapon, to draw and use their weapon. Now we have a case of Ryan Hinton, the 18-year-old who made a fatal mistake. Now, in my earlier reviewing of these videos, I came to determine that he couldn't have had possibly picked that gun back up in front of the officers, showing them that you're going for a weapon, right? Reaching for it. Why didn't the officers shoot Ryan Hinton as soon as he dropped that gun and they seen that he was going to pick the gun back up and start running with the gun? Why did they shoot him then? He fell and stumbled to the ground on the concrete before he passed up those dumpsters, right? That's when he dropped the gun, they said. So when did he drop the clip? After he got shot or when he dropped the gun? See, they're not going to tell you all these different elements and aspects to it because they said he dropped a second clip out of his hoodie pocket, okay? Then they said he dropped the gun on the concrete and showed the abrasions and scratches from the firearm hitting the concrete. Then they show us a picture of these two items, the gun, the weapon, and the extra magazine in the grass. So with the full body cam footage now being, shown, it was already put out there to the public, but you had to find it. It was through Cincinnati.com website, right? The news site there. And they had it, playing back to back, one narrated with text, showing and pointing arrows to blurred pictures where we're supposed to see the barrel of the gun. I don't see no barrel of the gun pointed at that officer in that blurred picture, but these people are going to point at a blurred image to try to manipulate your mind, to make you think you see it, when you clearly don't, and they don't either, right? And so I got to thinking, why would they do this? Because they're pushing that narrative that he actually had the gun when the officer shot him, which is, already being said by a witness that's seen this whole ordeal go on. They're saying, no, when Ryan Hinton dropped that gun, he didn't pick it back up. That's right. And they're saying he didn't actually drop it. They're saying that he placed it on the ground. That's what they're saying. So if he placed the gun on the ground, how did the gun get in the grass? But according to an alleged witness, they're saying that they actually seen Ryan place the gun down on the ground, on the concrete, and then get up and start running. So once again, here's the question. How did the gun get in the grass on the photo that they showed us, right? Both the clip and the gun are now in the grass. So if he placed it down, it should have still been on the concrete. So this is why people are saying this is a stage scene. It's blurred. That helped them out, or did they blur it? Who knows? But all we do know is certain parts of that footage is clear. Certain parts of it is grainy and blurry. What's going on there? And a lot of people say, see, that they're altering the footage. This is what's happening, you guys. This is what leads people to believe that we are being duped. We are being tricked, right? Manipulated into believing that this 18-year-old black boy had a gun pointed at the officer.
Hold on. Before you pay for yet another app to manage your team, let me introduce you to Connect Team, the one platform that
in a bladed position, as they say. And clearly the footage shows Ryan Hinton not even looking to the left of him where the officer was posted up at, about to fire and take his life. So it just does not add up. And this is what the father had to notice. Obviously, the father didn't agree that his son was pointing a weapon in that video, that body cam that was showed of his son. Now, a lot of people are not noticing that when that cop, the shooter, as they call him, who actually shot Ryan Hinton and killed him, when the shooter actually pulls up to the scene, they say, the chief claims that this officer, officer number 2 is what they call him, and also the shooter is what the investigative firm is calling him, that's working for the family, that's actually investigating the investigators, as I reported on. Right? Nobody can be trusted when it comes to your loved one, and they're saying that he was gunned down by law enforcement because he pointed a weapon at him. We have to show evidence of this and proof, but that's blurred. Now, according to Chief Thigi, she's saying that the actual officer, number 2, right, who shot Ryan Hinton, he was already in pursuit of another suspect who had jumped out the car. Remember, it was 4 suspects. All of them jump out the car and go different directions when law enforcement pulls up on them. But hold on now. They said that they were already watching these guys for 2 hours. Just sitting there watching them sleep. After they were called, obviously, either by the apartment complex or by the people who say that they tracked the stolen vehicle in question that Ryan Hinton and the gang were in. Now, there's a bunch of confusion going on with that, and more information is coming out about that might not even been a stolen vehicle. Might have just been a vehicle up for repossession. Oh, you know, they still gonna come up with something about that. Oh, it's still stolen. Doesn't matter. They're gonna come up with any and everything, you guys, to still justify. Okay, we know this. It's what they do. Nonetheless, if that's the case, they're still gonna run with that narrative. It was still stolen. It was unauthorized all of a sudden. They'll take it from stolen to unauthorized, you guys. Now, with Chief Thigi claiming that the officer who shot Ryan Hinton was in pursuit of another suspect already. Okay, so why in the video footage you don't see no suspect already running in view? And if he was already out of view, how do you know which way to go, sir? How do you know which direction to search for this suspect who just ran into a direction that you don't even know where he went to? So I found that very suspicious that she said that, and I think she only said that because, you know, of the facts in the case, that all these different suspects ran in different directions, leading them to, you know, a little space, a little room to lie and say, well, the officer who actually shot him wasn't even thinking about him. He was running after another suspect, right? And unfortunately, this same officer was in the vicinity. He had already beat Ryan Hinton past the dumpsters. That's right. So this tells me, when I look at the footage, this officer was actually the closest to Ryan Hinton when Ryan Hinton failed the first time, right? And they said that he dropped his weapon, and the other officer that was running up on the scene told that officer, the shooter, when the officer that shot Ryan Hinton pulls up in his squad car. Okay? It shows him jumping out at the same time and about to go run after a so-called suspect that wasn't Ryan Hinton, right? That had ran in another direction. They're saying he wasn't even paying attention to Ryan, you know, falling to the ground. But in the video, it sure seems like that officer seen Ryan Hinton on the ground, because how can we see Ryan Hinton falling to the ground on the body cam, clear as day, allegedly reaching for the gun, if the officer wasn't positioning the body cam in Ryan's direction, looking at him? So, you know, it's kind of hard to believe that this officer didn't know that a suspect had just stumbled to the ground, dropped a weapon, he's getting out of his squad car. He didn't see none of this. He just gets out and start running after invincible suspect that we cannot see on video running away, besides Ryan Hinton, that he's supposed to be pursuing. Something ain't right, you guys. This officer seen Ryan Hinton fall, according to the body cam footage. He could have easily stopped right then and said, hey, don't reach for the weapon or I'll shoot, and apprehended Ryan when he fell. He was right there closest to Ryan during that time when Ryan allegedly had already fell and disarmed himself by dropping the firearm. That was the perfect time for this officer close to Ryan that shot him. Could have diffused this whole situation. But no, he went and he positioned himself a little bit past the dumpsters, already ready to point his gun before Ryan came through and ran through the dumpsters, ready to shoot at this young man. Reportedly shooting at Ryan 5 times in that volley of shots, but only striking Ryan twice. And they said they struck him in the chest and in the arm, according to those reports. But other reports, like Cornell X, he said he has the knowledge that actually Ryan Hinton was shot in the back by the officer, and that's not being reported. And obviously that wasn't what was on the record when they wrote up the report.
When he did all this, did he have a gun in his hand?
Pointed to the ground, yes.
Okay, so you have an armed suspect actively committing multiple felonies, right? And doesn't disarm himself, gets shot by the police, right?
In the back.
And you think that
multiple shots in the back. You cool with that?
And you think, oh yes.
So you cool
okay.
with a cop shooting someone multiple times in the back who's not pointing a weapon at them?
Okay.
You cool with that?
From this video, which wasn't someone running away, it was running sideways with a gun.
No,
in his
he
hand.
was running away. Watch the video, ladies and gentlemen.
Weapon.
He was running away.
Okay.
Watch the video.
So it's a lot of corruption there if this is true. And, you know, of course, we're going to see where Ryan was actually shot at come time of the autopsy that's going to give us those exact details, unless that's corrupt too. You know how these things go. And they want to do cover-ups. They're going to cover up. Their statements are going to match. Oh, he got shot in the chest and arm? Okay, that's what's going to go on the autopsy, even though we see shots clearly through the young man's back and exit wounds out the front of the chest. So maybe they said chest because he got shot in the back and it exited through the front. So with me looking at the video and coming up with my own analysis, it seems as if they did shoot Ryan in the back one of those times, right? And because this young man was clearly running away, you know, in these photos, these still frames that I took of the actual footage, frame by frame. Yeah, man, he was trying to get away. Now, did he have the gun at the actual time of when the officer shot him and said that he had pointed the gun at the officer? Who knows? That picture is blurred. So it's just hard to, understand how this officer did not see Ryan Hinton already on the ground reaching for this weapon. Right when he's exiting his squad car to go run after this alleged person, suspect, that was in the car with Ryan. But nah, he stopped his pursuit because his officer yelled out, he's got a gun on your right. He seen him when he got out the squad car, but he chose not to pursue Ryan that was right there. It just doesn't make sense to me once, I look at this body cam footage and it seems to me as if, this was already premeditated to where this officer knew, right? Because if he's driving up, Ryan had to already be running in running mode. How did he not see Ryan already running if his body cam is showing he's pulling up at the same time and getting out while Ryan is already on the ground and already dropped the alleged weapon? You didn't see Ryan running when you were pulling up to the scene, sir? I don't know, man. I need to see a different angle of this, because it seems to me that officer had knowledge that Ryan was already there, right? That's what the body cam shows me, because it's showing me that I can see Ryan in the view of that body cam. So the officer is acting as if he never seen Ryan until Ryan came from between those dumpsters running with the gun pointed at him, as he says, right, in the bladed position, threatening him. Now, we would have to see, other video footage of the other suspects actually getting out the car and running in different directions in order to see if this officer who shot Ryan Hinton was actually in pursuit of a suspect running that direction that he was running in. See, we're going to have to see other footage of that to actually prove that the chief is not lying about that, because she's the one that made that statement. The officer hasn't spoke. The officer in question, the one who shot Ryan, nobody's talked to him, publicly. So it seems as if the chief is caught lying here if this is not true, because we would have to know that for sure this officer was in pursuit of a whole different other suspect, right? To take him out the mind frame of being premeditated, because one of the suspects is right here already on the ground that he conveniently ran past and positioned himself in front of the dumpsters for the suspect, waiting on him to run past, to shoot at his ass. That's just what I believe. Now, Cornell X said something else that caught my attention. He claims that Ryan had the gun in his hand, but pointed down to his side when he was running. That's what Cornell said. But, again, the cops are now saying, yes, Ryan did pick the gun back up. They're giving a detailed description of this. So I don't know, what's the actual source for Cornell to say that, or if he's, just making his own assumption there. But clearly there's no frame or picture or video that's depicting an actual weapon. It's just a blur, leaving the reasonable doubt there that this officer actually had a gun pointed at him during the time that he said he was in the fear of his life. Rodney Hinton Jr. was held again.
Now that I use Monday service, AI makes solving tickets my form of meditation.
Without bond about the judge. And the judge was already concerned for his safety and the arraignment that he asked about. He's being held in Claremont County. And obviously the judge...
We know how them police like the motherfuckers shoot motherfuckers. Yeah.
...trust this county and the jailers there and how they're going to treat Rodney, right? Make sure they don't violate his civil rights in that county jail because of the crime he just committed, right? Running over a deputy, right? Black man killed the white deputy. They better make sure that nobody is trying to abuse their power against Rodney. The state laid out his argument. They said this is a clear-cut case of murder, and witnesses testify that they seen Rodney do this act intentionally. They got video footage of him lingering around, waiting, stalking old Larry Henderson, waiting to mow him and plow him down, right, before crossing that intersection and taking the opportunity to kill the officer with his vehicle. Wow.
New body camera video just obtained by WLWT showing the man accused of intentionally killing a Hamilton County deputy in custody.
Rodney Hinton Jr., who is charged with murder, continues to be held in the Claremont County Jail for his safety. WLWT News' Ryan Hamrick is here to walk us through that brand new video we just got, Brian.
Yeah, Stephen, well, this is a new video just released by Claremont County. It shows body cam of Rodney Hinton Jr. shortly after he's released from the hospital and into Cincinnati police custody. You'll see he's still in the hospital gown as he's cuffed to be transported from Hamilton County to Claremont County. He says very few words as he leaves the room where he's held.
Are you able to stand on your own? Try. Locked up here. Here, use this hand to hold you. I'm gonna put this hand in cuff.
Yeah, he's walked to a waiting cruiser and then he's taken to Claremont County. Now Hinton's accused of using his vehicle to run over and kill Hamilton County Deputy Larry Henderson. That came after Hinton saw body cam of his son, who was armed and stealing a car, being shot by Cincinnati police the day before. After the crash, Hinton was taken to UC Hospital. Initially, his condition...
I mean, shit. You know? What can you really say? What can you really say, man?
Was reported as critical, but he's able to walk and move in this video. Once he arrives at the Claremont County Jail, he's asked questions about his medical condition.
I'm going to ask you some questions, all right? You have a serious medical or mental health issue that needs immediate attention? Is that a yes or a no? Have you recently considered attempted suicide? No. You want to hurt yourself or anybody else? No.
Yeah, so he's asked about his mental condition, if he needs immediate help. He says no, but his attorney, Clyde Bennett, said during the court appearance yesterday that he has serious mental issues, and that's what led him to run over the deputy.
Damning evidence, right? But hold on, not too quick, fam. They're saying that, you know, it's insanity. The lawyer of Ratner kind of, you know, resembles Samuel Jackson a little bit. And he's definitely saying he's going to file this motion, you know, for the court to be aware of the mental health status at the time of his client, right? Where he killed Larry Henderson after seeing his son murdered in body camera footage by an officer, okay? And this is what traumatized him and altered his mind at that time to do this crime. It wasn't premeditated. He snapped. After seeing his son being murdered by Cincinnati police officers there on that body cam footage that was shown to the family. And he went out and did this just 2 hours after he seen that footage, might I add.
Shit, I would have snapped too.
Or the presumption is great that the accused committed the offense to which he is charged.
Hold it. I will make a finding under revised code section 3927.222 by clear and convincing evidence that the crime was committed as you described, based on the information presented this morning.
Next would be that he poses a substantial risk of serious physical harm to any person or to the community.
Mr. Bennett, you want to address that?
I think in light of his mindset at the time this happened, I was physically present with the defendant over the weekend. I think he has mental issues. I think it's a long way of answering the question. I think the conduct in question is classic mental illness, criminal conduct. It's always intentional, it's bold, it's conspicuous.
I don't know that...
That's a hallmark sign that somebody is not in their right frame of mind, no attempt to deceive, no attempt to hide what they did, because they think that what they're doing is right, and they think that what they're doing is right because they're not in their right frame of mind. They don't understand the wrongful set of conduct. So yes, I'm agreeing with Mr.
Based upon the officer testimony, it's Officer Beebe.
Yes, Judge.
And all the facts and circumstances surrounding his testimony this morning, the comments of the state that there will be an order of remand with no bond. Please assure the safety of the defendant and any mental health treatment that can be granted. No bond.
Now to get to the big melee after those court proceedings with Rodney Hinton Jr. They got into a knockout, drag-out.
Hey, man, what y'all think on everything, man? What y'all think? Drop comments below, man. What y'all think, man? Do y'all think? Yeah, what y'all think? That's what I want to know. Yep.
Brawl inside of that courtroom that was out of this world. Check it out. Run it. Now, I ain't gonna give you no narrative. I'm gonna give you the rundown. And a lot of people want to know what actually caused that.
They say it ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. I'm talking about it ain't safe. You can't even be in the courtroom nowadays, man. It is not safe, bro. That's crazy.
It's because Monday, the day before, a guy had killed a teenager, black guy, shoots and kills, black teen, that was messing with his 11-year-old son. And he said that the teen brought a gun to his house, according to the report. It says this: Tuesday court hearing in Hamilton County was abruptly interrupted when a brawl broke out in the viewing gallery. Cameras inside courtroom A captured the moment when a man with a black hoodie started walking toward the other side of the viewing area, making a gun gesture with his hand. A confrontation ensues with people from the other side of the viewing area rushing over. Punches are thrown as Hamilton County Sheriff's Office deputies try to get the chaotic situation under control. No one was arrested, wow, really, in connection with the fight, according to the Sheriff's Office. Now, that's incredible. That's awesome. Nobody was arrested. All them black people fighting?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is wild, bro. I'm talking about, bro, ain't nowhere safe, man. Ain't nothing safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
Wow. Okay. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office said that the brawl seen in the video was not part of Rodney Hinton Jr.'s court appearance that happened earlier Tuesday. The hearing taking place when the fight started was for 38-year-old Dominique Elahy. Elahy was arrested for the murder of 18-year-old Jaden Smith in Forest Park on Monday, Lieutenant Adam Pape said. And this is another 18-year-old who was gunned down, but, by a father, a black man, who said that this 18-year-old black boy was messing with his 11-year-old son. They're saying that Elahy is accused of knowingly causing the death of Jaden Smith by shooting him in the chest with a handgun following a verbal altercation the teen had with Elahy's 11-year-old son, according to the affidavit reported by the Cincinnati Enquirer. Elahy was taken into custody shortly afterward and charged with murder based on his omission of the facts, officers' investigation, and death of the victim, the affidavit said. Elahy's lawyer claims that he shot in self-defense after the 18-year-old Smith came to his apartment with a gun, but no such weapon was found, investigators said. And he is due back in court on May 15th to appear before a grand jury.
A father charged with murder after prosecutors say he killed a teenager who was arguing with his son.
Court documents we looked through show that Dominic Elahy shot 18-year-old Jaden Smith in the chest outside of an apartment along Northland Boulevard in Forest Park. Shortly after 6 last night, they say Smith had been arguing with Elahy's 11-year-old son. Elahy is being held right now on a $1 million bond, charged with murder.
Prosecutors say Dominic Elahy shot and killed Jaden Smith Monday night.
Jaden Smith's mom is still coming to terms with the death of her 18-year-old son. She says it all started when her 7-year-old son told her another child was picking on him, which she says has been an ongoing problem.
And I'm like, well, you know what? Give me a break. I'm tired. Your brother's home. Let's have your brother go and smooth things out because he's a male.
She says Jaden put down his gaming equipment and went to help his younger brother. She says he first went to talk to the boy, then the boy's dad.
It was one single shot, pop, and then outburst of my youngest son screaming bloody. Seconds later, my oldest son came in and collapsed, stating that he loves me and he loves his brother. And he said, I'm dying. He said, I'm not. I said, you're not dying because there's no blood.
Jaden's mom tells us she thought her son was going to make it through surgery because she never saw a trail of blood, but doctors told her he was gone.
That's my first born child. I only have 2 children, so it was hard,
Forest Park police arrested Dominic Elahy for Jaden's murder. Even though she says there has been conflict with the boys, she had never interacted with Elahy before. Elahy's defense attorney claims he shot the 18-year-old in self-defense and that Jaden had a gun, but police said in court they did not find one.
So as we see, this brawl that happened in the courtroom wasn't because of Rodney Hinton Jr. running over the deputy. Nah. This was something totally different. This was another situation that I just explained to you, where another 18-year-old teen was killed, but this time by the hands of a black father who was protecting his son, the 11-year-old boy. After a verbal altercation, I don't know what was said. The father, it wasn't reported what the father said, that the 18-year-old told his 11-year-old son that made him, fly off the handle once the boy came to his house with the gun, allegedly. But according to law enforcement, no gun was found, and it's looking very, very sketchy at this point for Elahi. News about the GoFundMe in the name of Rodney Hinton Jr. collecting funds for his defense hit the headlines, and a demand by the Fraternal Order of Police there in Cincinnati, Ohio was sent to GoFundMe, demanding, that they take that down. This is not right. This guy just killed one of our fellow officers, colleagues, Larry Henderson. Mowed him down, plowed him over, right? And y'all are letting him collect money for his defense? Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of those accounts, it was like 10 or 12 of them, had to be scam accounts. They, the family of Rodney Hinton Jr. has never came out and said, hey, we have a GoFundMe in his name. No. But guess what they do have? They have a Give, Send, Go account that's definitely in one of the family members' name for Rodney Hinton Jr., collecting those funds on that site. And they also are collecting funds for Ryan Hinton, the son who was gunned down by Cincinnati PD. So y'all get in the comment section and y'all let me know what y'all think about this entire ordeal. And until the next time, this is OG Jucario TV with the latest in rap, hip hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spending with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notifications.
Yo. It's your boy, Mississippi Snow, no W, because that's that shit that falls from the sky, and them motherfucking guy. Tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the most interesting, unusual show around this side of the Mississippi. Niggaology 601, and I'm out.
Look, I'ma gon' skate on these hoes, hilltop, coast on these hoes, push, moving, southern style, southern style, coasting, money on my motherfucking mind, out here on the motherfucking grind, pushing, moving, southern style, southern style, coasting. I'ma gon' skate on these hoes, hilltop, coast on these hoes, push, moving, southern style, southern style, coasting, money on my motherfucking mind, out here on the motherfucking grind, pushing, moving, southern style, southern style.